Bree is really here this time.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Better days, but you know what? I've got opportunities.
Bree.
Bree, go Bree.
So, okay, I'm looking at the bright side. So I'm about to get fired,
Yay!
right? Like, and for no reason, but like I can see the writing on the wall. They just took me off the schedule with no explanation.
Can you? Oh no, you probably can't. I was gonna say, like, can you click employment on them?
Oh, so I've got an attorney involved.
Okay.
So and I've got like 4 other servers that are willing to, like, because it's racial discrimination.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, they sort of corner you guys off into one little section, and that's just the beginning of it.
Right. And I talked to another one, so I'm like, okay, cool, but it's an opportunity. So I'm looking forward. Like, the timing is kind of good because I need to do my vision board. I need to do my goals. I need to get my head, my blood pressure is up because of them. But I can focus more on what I need to focus on.
Yeah.
Do you really want to go
That
back
is my
to
opportunity.
it?
Huh?
Do you really want to go back to it? I mean, I know you
I
like
don't,
the
but
money.
my attorney told me not to quit.
You
But they've
can't.
taken me off the schedule.
Right.
Yeah, you can't. If you're gonna fight that, you cannot quit.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Right, which is
Virginia is it's a right to work state also. So you've got. Oh no, you're not in Virginia. You're in Tennessee. Never mind.
We are a right to work state.
Okay.
But not only that, but I have the largest workers' rights company that sued 2 other restaurants here in Nashville for the same thing.
Wow.
So, that's things work out for a reason. I've already pared my finances down, and I have a closing in the end of this month. So financially, I'm actually fine till February.
Cool. Very, very, very cool.
Yeah. So God works things out. My good news is I'm looking forward to not going in. I didn't shed a tear. So
Good for you.
I'm so naive. I mean, I am used to people screwing around with you because of other types of not necessarily religion, but discriminatory areas.
Mm-hmm.
I never think of that. I mean, and this is just, I'm sorry, Bree, but this is just a waitress job. I mean, how much more service can you get? And to pull racial crap, it's beyond me.
In
It's beyond me.
2022.
it's 2022.
That's the thing.
So I don't know if you watched the movie. What was it about the women scientists, the Black women scientists?
Well, that was good. The NASA or whatever.
Yeah. So there was one scene that Hidden Figures. Hidden Figures. So the supervisor was reprimanding her because it took her 45 minutes to go to the bathroom. He's like, I don't understand. What are you doing? You know, like, you're not taking advantage. And twice a day, I notice you're gone for 45 minutes and you say you're going to the bathroom. Like, he was like calling her a liar, you know, like, and he's
Right.
doing it in front of everybody. Like,
Of
it wasn't even
course.
pulling her aside. And she goes, and she's very calm and she held her shit together. She said, I have to walk to another campus because I'm a Black and I'm not allowed to use the bathroom in our building. And she would only go to the bathroom twice a day.
Yeah, I remember
Wow.
that.
And she was the best scientist they had.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I'm
you know
worried
what?
about 45 minutes.
45 minutes. He was comparing, and she was like, it was full of white men. So
Right.
one, they were white, and two, they were men that just have to pull it out, go to the bathroom, 5 minutes later, they're done.
It's not
Right.
that simple.
I know.
Craig, I've seen it
Really?
before.
Right. But you know, like,
Oh, my
women have
God.
periods, they have,
Well,
you know, we
yeah,
have to sit, you know, like, it's just more involved. And the fact that it was only 45 minutes, I was impressed. But it gave me perspective, and I needed, you know, it's shitty in 2022, and the racism is different.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's institutionalized. It's not as blatant. And my
right.
girlfriend, who's a judge and an employment lawyer, said nowadays it's so hard because they're not putting the noose on your locker.
No, it's much more subtle and
It's
insidious.
subtle and microaggressions,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mhm.
meant to like wear you down.
Mhm.
So
Right.
they've evolved. The racism has evolved. So,
You're right. It's inch by inch by inch by inch by inch by inch. It's not a blatant slap in the face, which makes it very, very hard to sue or do anything. So, I've not been discriminated against because of my race. So I'm just gonna fully fess up that, like, I can't say like I understand, because I don't. I can only empathize. I just, that's all the more I can do as a white girl not growing up like that. When my ex was abusive, it was inch by inch by inch by inch by inch by inch by inch. So it was never anything I could go with. There was never anything to do. I don't bruise easy, so I made sure. And it was just, there's no case there. Even though if you look at, you know, the pattern of 20 years, it was clearly massively abusive, but it's not blatant. It almost on some level sucks, because it's hard to get, because after the 8,000th time, I'm sure you want to go, "Roar," and then you look like the horrible person.
the angry Black woman, like,
Exactly.
I'm either supposed to be the damsel in distress, and I'm supposed to go to them and cry and break down and things like that. And that's fine if that's you, but I can't do that.
That's not you.
Or and it's not me. Or I'm the angry Black woman. And I was like, I refuse for you to get a rise out of me. In fact, like, you know, I know we're together, I'm like, fuck off. But, you know, they're not going to get that from me. So,
Yeah.
and to hold that in and try and still do excellent service, like I have to do perfect service.
Yeah.
Oh, there would be a way. You must have to segment yourself.
Yeah, I do. I have to go in and I have to be like, I'm like, okay, let me psych myself up. And so when I called yesterday, because we were supposed to chat before my schedule, I was like, I need to do it 2 hours beforehand, because when I get on the floor, I'm all in. Like,
Right.
I have to get perfect service, perfect.
Right.
And so to deal with something contentious, I need to, you know, do that, clear it. And so when I called her at 2 o'clock, and I was supposed to be on the floor at 4, she was like, okay, well, I'll see you at 3:30. I was like, I can't, you know, I'm scheduled at 4. I can't, you know, I have kids. Why 3:30? We've already talked. She's like, oh, I thought you said you were coming 30 minutes early. I was like, I requested this meeting. I'm done. Like, we talked. It's 2 o'clock. I said what I need to say. Got my head clear. I'll be in at 4. She's like, well, I took you off the schedule.
Hmm. And that
I
was
was like, so I
clearly
was
done
gonna-
before.
Yeah, and I was like, so I was going to come in. You want me to come in at 3:30 and then have me dressed ready to go, and then I'd be off the schedule.
Yeah. Yeah. And arrange
And I
all
will-
the childcare and all that. And yeah, no.
Yeah. So anyway, I was like, gotcha. Called my friend who's a judge. called another employee, got the name of the lawsuit that was filed, the attorney that handled it, the firm that gets results, and rescheduled. So, but
But
I
yeah,
have a que- I have a question.
Yeah.
And I don't know the answer, and it's your answer. It's not my answer on any level. Is this a battle you want to take on?
So that's a good question. So I think I've already got all my notes. Like I've spent way too much energy up to this point. But the good thing is I don't have to go back in and do a dump. I've already done the dump. Everything's documented. Like I have
That's
things
good.
in my phone, I have pictures, I have notes, I have conversations. The last thing is when I meet with them Friday, my girlfriend said, if you're a participant in a meeting, you legally can record it. And then that can be used as evidence in court.
Okay.
So that is my Friday. And then I'm done. I'm handing everything over to an attorney. I've talked to the other African Americans on the floor. They've got some documentation. They're willing to do the dump. I'm moving on.
Oh,
I'm
good.
not quitting,
Okay.
but they've taken me off the schedule.
Okay. All right. I get you. I totally understand now. Thank you for sharing that. And
yeah, I wouldn't tell them that you're moving on because they may take that
Oh,
as
no.
I quit.
no.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
I have one more thing. I've done this. I don't know. You might want to run it past your attorney because you have an attorney. But I've done I brought in Washington State, if you can ask your supervisor to sign something, and I don't remember what it was, but he flat out refused to sign. And so I just took the piece of paper back and I started writing on it. And he goes, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, I said, "I'm writing refuse to sign." And he was livid because he knew he was supposed to sign the stupid thing. And he grabbed it back and signed it. But I mean, he was pissed. So feel free to, in your recording, if it's okay, with the attorney, and the attorney says yes to do this, to say, we were supposed to be meeting at such and such a time, and they're refusing to allow it to be recorded. I'm going to leave now, or whatever it is, or we're, we're not able to meet now, so that you have that documented also.
At the
Right.
post office, I dealt with all this kind of crap personally.
Uh-huh.
And one of the other things that you could do besides that was have a third party person in there.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm going to contact that other firm because they do severance, voluntary or involuntary severance negotiations, or just be present. And so I'm going to contact them today and see if one of them can come.
That'd be great.
Well,
So
I can't say that you're a strong woman, and no matter what direction you go, it is going to be the direction that is right for you. And I know you're going to make the best set of decisions. And either way, no matter what, whether you decide to fight, not fight, or do something completely different, you are strong, and I am very proud of you.
thank you guys. Thank you
And
guys.
you've
And thank
gotten-
you for letting me vent. It's just been
And you've gotten some amazing contacts from being there, no matter how long.
yeah.
True that.
Yeah.
And Bree, I think you're right to challenge them, because so many of these companies get off because they're a big company and they got big pockets. And so nobody will stand up to them. And, I have to say, I never stood up for the discrimination that I had. I was sexually discriminated against. I had advances made to me that now would have gotten people put in jail. And at the time I grew up, nobody ever said anything. So,
Right,
and
'cause
now
you
I
would
see
not
it.
be able to progress if you said something.
No, and I see it every day in age discrimination. You get
Yes.
past 65, you can't get a job. It is so rampant and nobody does anything. So God be with you.
Yeah,
Thank
definitely.
you. And it's motivated me, like, why I need to be in real estate. Like, work with people that are supportive, and the metrics. Like, you can't measure what you don't look at.
Mm-hmm.
And so and if you don't change it, you're allowing it. You're condoning it.
Mm-hmm.
So just because they say they don't see racism and it's there, they're condoning it. And it's
Yeah.
made me more aware of what I need to do for equity, like in my business and in treating people. And like, we have such power as realtors and part of the GIA team to change the trajectory of what people expect from businesses. Because so many businesses can operate inefficiently. And as an older Black woman, my opportunities in real estate are much greater than like in hospitality or the corporate
Almost
world,
everything.
or or anything. And it's so sad that the reality is a rich white guy in South Carolina can run 7 businesses so inefficiently, pick it up, put it in Nashville, not look at the diversity or the demographics. We have lots of minorities that have means, and they newly have means because historically we've been kept out across the country, across the world. So they have means to come to these restaurants and are great people, but they've never had access.
Mhm.
And so these people put business here because they see the opportunity, but they're not willing to embrace it to grow.
Mhm.
And as realtors, we come to people and we look at their situation specifically, and how can we help them? Like, what are your parameters? How can we grow? And from that, I was like, you guys are just so inefficient. They would not work in our field. Like, they would not be able to succeed in our field. They would be one of those transactional realtors that just go after the money and then quit. So,
Darling, I really, really highly encourage you to take this recording, take it home, and come up with, when you're allowed to talk, or if you can talk about it without talking about it, you know what I mean? Without
Right,
naming
right.
anything or saying anything. You have such a powerful testimony and speech about why I became a realtor, why real estate is important, why real estate is your ticket to be able to really make effective change in your communities, why we look at the individual and weigh them on their own merits and lift them the direction that they want to go. Why corporate is not able to do that, or how they failed doing that, and why we are. You have I'm just sitting here going, oh my God, you're going to have the most amazing story. We already have the
Needs to
most
write a
amazing-
book, write a chapter
I agree.
and
I
talk
really
about
do.
it openly and get it out there.
I think you need to talk. I think you should contact, I mean, if your attorney says you can talk without spilling any names of anything, and
Right.
how you can word it, because you might not be allowed to do anything right now. But if you can couch it in somehow different terms and do something, I think that you should get, I think it would, I hate saying should, maybe consider some avenues like NARAB and some things like that, where you can stand up, because you have a very powerful speech. You really, really do.
Yeah, you do.
And I'll finish with this. My sales are either 150,000 or 1.5 million. And it's because of the relationship. I'm not looking luxury. I'm not looking quick turnaround. And so I was talking to my girlfriend who I sold the $1 million home for. She was like, you know what, the difference with you, and I was just catching up with her. It's been like a year and a half since I sold her that house. I sold, she's like, she gets those magazines because of the neighborhood she lives in. It's, considered a luxury. And it's half full of realtors that are just touting all the high-end properties that they've sold. And she said, the difference with you is, she goes, and they're all the same. And they're the same MO. I'm going to get you money. I'm going to get you money. She's like, but the difference, and I was like, honored. She was like, you work with people because you enjoy working with the people and helping them no matter where they are.
Mhm.
And so that was coming from she was like, and I wish the other realtors were like that.
Real human beings.
Real
Yeah.
human. And I was like,
Hers.
right. And she's like, even in that luxury market, she's like, I would never use them.
They're
So,
Stepford.
right. And
They
I didn't
really
think
are.
about
They're
that. You know, so
stickers.
many people were like, I want to do luxury. Why? Because of the money.
Right.
I mean, it's great, but
It is. It is. And I concur 1000%. And there's nothing wrong if that's the direction that you want to go and you are, but just be a real flipping person. Like my guy
Right.
Mike, my very first recruit ever went to like the premier neighborhood, and that's what he did. But he was a businessman. He came from a background where he built stadiums and things like that. He had the construction company
Right.
that did that. That was his background. He was big business and that kind of stuff. So he was very much his businessman. It's like, I'm a businessman. I don't harass you. I don't do any of this crap. This is business. You want to do it? It's business. If you don't, it's fine. You know, but he was real about it. That's who he was.
right.
You know, we used to joke in Virginia, in the Southern Virginia part, there's a company, Liz Moore is the name of the company. And every single picture, mostly it's women, mostly my age. And every single picture, they're in a suit with a collared shirt, and they're like,
Right.
and it's tilted ever so much. Every single picture, it's just a whole panel of 80 women. You know, I'm like, wow. What? And that's the MO, you know.
Yep.
Wow. Bree. Congrats for looking at the opportunities too, because I think you have a lot, and I do think it is coming at the right time. I really do.
Yeah. And I applied for this cohort through the chamber, and I didn't get it, but they reached out to me and told me why I didn't get it. And it was because the other person I was like, they picked diversity as far as backgrounds and everything. The person that was kind of like where I was on the fence had been a commercial real estate agent for 20 years.
Okay.
But Anne had been a real estate agent for 20 years. I've only been in it like, what, 3 years? And so
That's
they were
all.
like, yeah. And so they were like, you were so close, but we just could not, like, we want you next year. Like, so that wasn't like, my feelings were hurt initially because I'm so competitive. I'm like, I need to get this. But the fact that I was being considered with someone that was a 20-year veteran. So they found me another program. They found me another program through Vanderbilt University, a leadership program to go through that one.
Are you doing it?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
applying. So they're like, you've got our backing. And then next year I'll be in the leadership, the 2024, cohort. And so that's the one where I go to Miami. I meet with 30 of the Fortune 500 CEOs, so things, I guess, in its own time. I'm so like, I want it now. And God's like, slow it down.
So
But you'll be amazed, Bree, when you start getting some of those honors and awards, because it happened to me. I was like a up and comer at 30 and all that. I got all those awards. And when you do, one begats another, begats another, begats another. And you meet people you would never believe you would meet, and you get appointed to places you never thought you'd be. So, but it comes slowly and incrementally, and usually you're surprised.
Good.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a
the
good
hockey stick.
trajectory.
Yep, it's the hockey stick of nothing, 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 something, 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 bam.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and
So
you're
that's
right.
my 24 hours.
That's what?
That was my 24 hours.
Ah,
Wow.
wow. All right. This is, Bree, keep us posted. I'm
Thank
really grateful, actually.
I found my dog.
Yeah.
Was he missing?
Yes.
Just missing.
Oh,
We're happy.
It's the cutest dang thing ever. Okay. Does anybody have anything else, or are we just going to close out on our fabulous Bree?
Well, I have, I'm negotiating the amendment for my 88-year-old. They don't want to pay for septic, and they don't want to pay for his air conditioner, which is old, but it's functional. So I'm going to try and go the route of a home warranty. And we're gonna try and get that we are going to get that closed. There is no try. We're
Good.
gonna get that closed Friday. And I'm waiting for an acceptance on the counter offer for Branch Road. The other realtor didn't understand owner financing, so I had to educate her
Oh.
about owner financing and a promissory note in addition to the closing and how it would work, and tell her to educate her guy that, you know, it's not going to mess up his debt to income ratio and it shouldn't mess up his credit because it'll be private.
Mm.
That's been my 24 hours, as well as getting my house in order and buying teacher gifts to get through the end of school and getting my kids packed for vacation, which is driving me crazy. But I'm good.
Oh, we're looking at 24 hours. That's my 24 hours. Greg called me last night at like 6 o'clock at night. So the meeting's at 7. He's like, do you want to run down to Disney? He's at Disney parks. He's like, do you want to run down here? No, I don't want to run down there. The night before, he's like 8 o'clock at night. Do you want to go to Disney? No, I don't want to go to Disney. He's obsessed with getting these tiki mugs, and he wants me there because he can get 4 that way. He's got 2 of them already traded mugs he wants, 1 to keep, 1 to sell. And I'm like, no, I don't care about the
Like, I don't care about the tiki.
but I don't want to go down there and just stand there for hours outside of a tiki room trying to get you whatever it is you want. I don't care. And he'll do that. And then it struck me that my husband will pursue what he wants relentlessly. And I mean relentlessly. And I'm like, and I was one of those people he pursued. So I'm like, I'm kind of okay with that. But you're on your own for the tiki mugs, darling. But he came home at 4. So
The
he
new
did
version of date night.
exactly. And I cannot tell you, okay, in the beginning I used to do it because I'm like, I should be a good wife and go do this crap. And then I'm like, I hate this stuff. Like he will stand outside. If he wants someone's autograph, he will stand outside in the cold, in the freezing, whatever, and he will wait for, like in New York City, we will wait for like 3 hours to get somebody outside. And I've done it a couple of times and I'm like, nope, can't do it. So, but he can, it's his gig. So that's my 24 hours. He did not go to Disney. It was a good move too. Last night's meeting was good. So, Craig?
So not to go farther down the rabbit hole, but when I first got in real estate, I mean, I've experienced racism in real estate. So when I first got in and got my
Sorry.
license,
Go ahead. Yeah.
when I got my license, the little town that I'm in, you know, few companies, it was only a handful of Black agents at the time. And, you know, a lot of times, white males are more comfortable with Black women.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
Black males.
Yes.
So no one would hire me. Yeah. So you know, the one company had a Black lady there that I knew, and she was excited that I got my license. She was like, "Oh yeah, come and talk to the broker, you know, tell him I sent you." And you know, I walked in that day and he kind of looked at me when I told him, you know, I wanted to work for his company. Bring me a resume. Yeah. So I actually took him back a resume. Heard nothing. And then he wants to get chummy with me when we're at a meeting, you know, and I'm like, you know, whatever, man. And then just a few years ago, I think I was showing one of his houses or something, and he was like, "Hey, you know, if you ever want to come this way," because he doesn't even remember me.
Right. Of course not.
And he says, "If you ever want to come back this way, you know, come home, let me know, and you know, you come and work here." I was like, you know, I tried that when I first came in real estate, and you wouldn't hire me. You know, and then also showing a home in an older neighborhood here in Greenwood, you know, was a older prestigious community at one time, still mostly white, and took a young Black couple out there with 2 of their children, young children. They were looking at the home. Home was about 180,000 at the time, you know, so not like it was a super luxurious home. And we were in the yard. The neighbor had a small child about the age of theirs, spoke, nothing. So, you know, I just smiled and kept it going. So they left. I was locking up the home. This other lady, which was about the same age as me, a little younger, came from all the way down the street with her little dog and says, "Can I help you?" I says, "What do you want to help me with?"
You're in the
And,
wrong place.
Yeah, she says, "Well, can I help you?" I says, "What do you want to help me with?" I asked her again.
Mhm.
And the dog was smart. The dog looked and he says, and he turns around and hightails it back home, right? And I said, "Do you own the home?" And she says, "No." I said, "Well, what is it that you feel like you need to help me with?"
Mhm.
And she never answered the question. And she just turned around with a stupid look on her face and walked back home.
Cause she's a stupid person.
Yeah.
You should have asked her
really.
if she was interested in buying the house and
I
needed
should
an
have.
answer.
But I've gotten that, a couple of times, but early on in my career, really, that was, sucky, because
Mhm.
the company that did hire me, Exit Realty, he and his wife, they had the most Black agents in town. They were white, and they
Mhm.
had, they had the half of the handful of us.
Right.
So he took a chance. I tell him to this day, I love him for giving me a chance.
Not
Uh,
even a chance. It's just
yeah,
being a decent human being.
yeah.
It's not even
So
a chance, Craig.
yeah, so I moved on. Recession hit a year later. I moved on to Greenville, and I was a part of the Greenwood MLS at the time, because in South Carolina, every little town's got an MLS. It sucks. So I was thinking about coming back, joining again, and the lady that's over the MLS, I went in and she says, "Yeah, we need more of you that know how to do business." And I'm like, "Really?" And I was like, "That's okay. I don't want to join your MLS." So that's why I don't have Greenwood MLS. I'll never get it unless she leaves. And then it's this one company, this one guy. He came into real estate when he's like 18. His dad and uncle and stuff, real estate. So he came from a real estate family, but he basically runs the MLS in Greenwood.
Mhm.
He's a top agent. I mean, he does a ton of business. But I just refuse. I mean, I'll never join that MLS.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
That's just
The little
nuts.
crappy MLSs, when they Virginia's chopped up too into 80 million little MLSs all
They
owned by
are.
different brokers. Yeah. And so they kicked me out of MLS when I first got there because they hated me because I was shutting down their offices, not on purpose. I was just recruiting everybody. So I was closing down left and right. And the first year they did awards ceremony, which in Virginia is like the damn prom. I mean, and Washington State is not like that. So in Virginia, it's like the stupid prom. I mean, tiaras, full-on gowns, all of it. Anyway, so I was told, as warned, thank God, to make sure that you do like nice flowers from the best florist around because everybody's watching you and it's the dang prom. So I was like, and they hated me out there. The other brokers, I mean, they hated my guts, right? The average office was about 40, maybe 50, and we grew our office to 130 in a year. And it was from all their offices. So all their offices, are getting shut down or they're down to 12 people kind of thing, right? So they hate my guts. I'm a northerner, right? So they're like, this.
Oh, they really hated you for that.
They really hate me for that. A northerner from the West Coast. I'm West Coast northerner. Anyway, so I went and got flowers I went to the best florist that they had. And I'm like, I need the biggest, most ostentatious, showy ass, gaudy things you possibly have. And it needs to have a lot of red in it for Keller Williams. And they gave us these flowers and he gave me a killer good deal too. He's like, I really like you. So it's the kind of like Miss America would hold. And I mean, it's 5 feet long, right? I mean, it's flowers. And it was this gorgeous tropical thing. And it was very, very, very cool, but they were huge. And it's funny because the other brokers now are losing money. So they're handing out these little bouquets of stuff, right? But my crew has this. And my crew has got award after award after award after award because I took a bunch of people in a year and we popped them all the way up to top producers. So they're all in the front and they're super excited because it's their first year. They were like, brand new in real estate and now they're top producers. Anyway, so I'm standing up there and my job is with all the other brokers up at this table because we have all the flowers. And when it's your agent before they walk on stage, you hand them the flowers. So the top agent's there. He's not my agent and he's a prideful schmuck. And he gets up there and he jokingly is like, I'm taking these flowers because he doesn't realize that they're Keller Williams and he hates us, right? He's like, I'm taking these flowers. And he's a clown and a good old boy. And he's just jerky, right? So
Asshole.
Biff or something. There you go. Anyway, so Biff grabs my flowers and he's getting ready to march. And he's like, and first I'm like, hang on, don't be taking my flowers. But then I was like, dude, go. And he
Yeah.
looked at me because it suddenly clicked that he'd be up there with the clearly Keller Williams flowers. And he was like, ah, because all the brokers are friends with everybody and they all know each other. So it's a good old network, right? And
Right.
nobody would talk to me for like the hour and a half that I was at that table. Not one person trying to have a conversation and they would literally turn their backs. And I was like, well, I guess this is what it looks like, I mean, my agents love me. That's good enough for me. If you 20 people hate my guts, you 20 people hate my guts, those 130 people flipping love me. So whatever,
But, so when I was a part of the Greenwood MLS with Exit Realty, they used to have these morning breakfasts like every week or whatever. They would have these meetings. So they was honoring the same guy, the broker. And another lady. And, they were talking about, oh, how we help everyone. So, and I'm thinking, both of you are full of shit. Because, the lady, I even went to her, she was Caldwell Banker. And, she didn't even, she just blew me off. So everybody was standing up, clapping every time they said something. So I just sat there, and I knew people were looking at me like, because usually when I'm at events, I'm one of the only one that look like me.
right.
In Greenwood at the time, a lot of the agents were part-time. I had a car washing, pressure washing business, so I could make the meetings. I made my own schedule. They had to work, so I would still be like the only one in the room. Which never bothered me, because it just never bothered me. I was always, when I walked in the room, I felt like everybody should look at me. Everybody should see me coming.
Oh God, I love that.
But when I went to Greenville, and bigger town, more diverse. It wasn't just the good old boys, because everybody it was a melting pot. Even if I was the only one of us in the room, it was people from all over the country that was there. And they were so welcoming. It may be one asshole or one or two assholes, but nobody liked them. They was just an asshole to everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it was just so different. And by being at EXP, Keller Williams first, the big box company, really taught me a lot. And then EXP, and this team, it's amazing. I wouldn't change it for the world. And I know how to handle people like that, because most of the time the people that's the assholes, and they come in every color.
Yes, they do.
I know how to handle them. I've had experiences where they just like look at me, treat me kind of cold, but I still smile and get close to them, irritate the hell out of them.
Kill 'em with
You know,
kindness.
Careful, I'll touch you.
yeah. And So I just do shit like that, and
No,
I give them a strong face to let them know, you can't bother me,
I am not gonna look my eyes down in shame. I
yeah.
am not gonna do it.
So, but I don't let it bother me too much, but sometimes it does, get under my skin.
Sometimes it weighs on you. It's
Yeah,
hard to take.
yeah.
I had a guy the other day that I did the most horrendous thing of pulling in front of him. Loads of room, so it wasn't like I cut him off or anything. His down here it's pickup drivers, and just sometimes they're jerks, and we also they see my little car, and so some people see my little car and then they're like, oh, and they make sure they go by me super fast, like, oh, my car's fast too. And it's like, oh, I still don't care. And so I get that with like little kid cars, especially like little kid cars see my car and then like, oh, I'm faster than yours. Maybe it is, or maybe it isn't. I don't care. But anyway, so we were just driving in traffic and it takes me an hour to get home from Toastmasters and I had to go take a left. So I pulled, he was vroom past me and eventually lights and everything, we caught up again and vroom past me. And then the opportunity, it came where I went and stood in front of him so I could go take my left and he pulled my left behind me. And that was it, man. He's aggressive asshole. He's on top of me. He's making rude gestures. He's like right on top of my butt and everything in this big, huge pickup truck. And it was so obscenely gross what he was doing. And the gesturing and everything. And not just this. I mean, I really don't care about that. And I have a convertible. So and you're right, he's right here. So if all I have to do is put my hand up like this tall, you can see everything I'm doing. And I'd had enough. Okay, this is rude and you're going to clue into me. But I finally reached up and I did this behind my head. And that's all I did. And that set him off. And then I just started laughing. I mean, I was laughing and not like it was super funny. It's just like, you are not going to get to me. And truly, he was scary as hell. I mean, he really was. Light turned green, took my left, and he's right up on my butt again, although I'm much quicker off the line than he was. But when he finally caught up to me again, he was right on my butt again, and I just took my foot off the gas. I'm like, you can pass me, you cannot pass me, but you're an angry man.
Yeah.
But we had that incident. And then eventually he turned off and did his thing, right? And then I had another 45 minutes, whatever, to get home. Anyway, I got home. It took a while, like a full day, to shake it, even though it was just this much of an interaction of somebody who was completely vile. I mean, he's a vile human being. And all I kept on thinking was, good God, he's never going to be married because who would do that? You're grossly vile. But it still took a while to shake it. And I'm talking about it, and it happened Saturday, happened almost a week ago now. So they're still like, and it feels
Evil is very persistent.
It is, and I gotta scrub you off my skin. He's not in my soul. Was on my skin, and I mean, like I need to get a dry brush or something, scrape the evil off. It's just a little. So, yeah. I hope that he gets whatever it is he wants out of life, whatever that is, because he was awful angry at a middle-aged old lady in a car who happened to not cut him off, but just got in front of him at a light,
He didn't know how to tell you were pretty.
Oh, you're very sweet, because that's the grossest thing ever. So gross.
you want to know what
Well,
I did one
in
time?
the South, when you can't figure out, like if someone's kind of dumb and it's a female, you just go, oh, you're so pretty.
Yes, you do. You do. That's what they say.
Yeah, like, or bless your heart.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Oh, that one for sure.
You're pretty, and bless your heart, that they really meant you're pretty and bless your heart.
Right.
You want to know what I did one time when you talk about it was only last weekend. This was years ago when I was dealing with somebody that was just extremely rude, tailgate and all that kind of crap. We were still out in the country, but we got up to the point that there was a stoplight. I just sat there. I did not move through two lights. My husband was so mad. And it was like
Yeah.
No. He
No.
could have went around.
Yeah,
know.
go around me.
Let him wait.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I sat there at the
Fine.
traffic light and he was so close up on my ass, he couldn't get around.
That was, yeah, see, ha ha. If I'm in the fast lane, I will move over. I have no issues with that. If I'm in the slow lane and you're on my butt, I just take my foot off the gas. Like,
Yeah, I've done that too.
and it's just this subtle coast down. And if I coast all the way down, coast all the way down. Go the flip around me, and
Yeah.
conversely, if you're in the path and I'm on your butt, get over. Like, there's rules to the law. There's the rah, 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 rah. Anyway,
My daughter's
I
a very
love-
vocal driver. She does rah, rah, rah all the time.
Oh, that's my wife.
that's my husband.
Yeah.
Doesn't do
but
any good, but I guess it makes him feel better.
Yeah, I mean, I love people so much. I love meeting people. You know, I get it from my dad, because my dad says, if he's somewhere and he's sitting down and someone comes to sit beside him, they better want to talk because he's talking. He doesn't care who it is. And
Right.
He says, and if you don't want to talk, you can leave. So I get it from him, you know. So I mean, I love people. I love conversations, and I love genuine people, you know.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
They
And the
make-
nice thing about real estate, like what you're saying, Craig, that even though it's a microcosm of our environment, you know, the
Mhm.
racism is still there. We are genuine people, and we can choose to not work with people.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
You know, like
beauty.
you're an asshole for whatever reason, you know, because I'm a Black male, because I'm a male, because I just happen to be not from your
mommy didn't
area.
love you. Who
You
cares?
know, your mommy didn't love you, but you know what? That's not my issue.
Yep.
Mm-mm.
Right.
And so we have the power, and it's unfortunate that even though, you know, it's still microcosm, but it's just given us that more, like, you know, you're good at what you do,
Mhm.
and you love people, and you're genuine, and you know that if it's not that person, that's their loss.
Yep.
That's right.
That's
And you
right.
can
You're
give
not
them
my type.
away. You can give them away and get 25% and not have
Right.
to deal with the headache.
That's what I gotta
I'll still
learn. to
make
be,
money
Kat.
off you, asshole.
Right? I'm still getting 25% off you.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
go.
So you go
Yeah.
be you.
Gosh, I'm
Yeah.
really too busy. I want to make sure you get a really good service. How about you? And here you go.
I'm
Yeah.
busy. I
about you
have to
go-
go close the fridge.
All right. How about you go fuck yourself? And I make 25% off of you while you do it.
Yeah.
And I
Yep.
don't want to watch.
And I don't want to watch. Or as Justin Bieber said, love yourself. Go love
Oh my
yourself.
God, I love that song.
It took me a minute to realize what he was saying, but I was like, that's classic. Go love
and when I first
yourself.
heard it, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. My husband's like, you're seriously listening to Justin Bieber? I'm like, yes, I am.
You know,
Yes, I am.
Man, I love you guys.
I love you.
Yeah.
love you guys too.
Have a
I
You
great
guys are
weekend.
awesome. I
And we're
can't-
on today at 2 for our last class.
It's our last class, and I have to get with Ava because I think that she forgot to send out the packet. Yeah, because Trevor texted me last night, and I'm like, I'll get that packet out right away. So yes. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Have an awesome
Crush
day.
it. All right.